So number 5 of my top 10 emotional situations to prepare for before you have a bariatric surgery is fear that you'll have irreversible health complications caused by the surgery. Now, this is a legitimate concern, and you will have to address that. Once again, depending on your health situation before you have a surgery, some people have some things that will make this surgery much more dangerous than the average person's surgery would be. And it depends on which bariatric surgery you have as well. There are several choices, several options. Once again, it's very important to be very comfortable with and confident in your surgeon. Because you're going to be walking alongside them and having them guide you through several years of your life that are extremely important. And I can yet again tell you from experience that if you do have a complication like I did, you're going to want a surgeon who's thorough. You're going to want a surgeon who really, really cares for his or her patients. And you're going to want a surgeon who is not only going to go to bat for you, but their team in their office is going to go to bat for you as well. So once again, do not search for horror stories online about bariatric surgery, because you will definitely find them. You will find the worst of the internet if you do a search for bariatric surgery horror stories. You will find all kinds of weirdness. No, I have not gone to look for it, and I purposefully will not go to look for it. Now, don't you go look for it either just because I said I didn't look for it. But I know from what others have told me that you will find stuff that will scare the hell out of you. And that's what it's intended to do. It's titillating shock value garbage. It's not stuff that is really legitimately going to help you make a decision with whether or not you should have surgery. But it can really play a big factor in terms of your freedom about Ask your surgeon what's the likelihood of that. Ask your surgeon how many times he or she has actually seen that complication. Now, once again, that doesn't mean that it won't happen to you. When I had my stricture, my surgeon told me it was the worst one he had ever seen in the 12 years that he had been doing this surgery, and he had never heard of one being that bad. That was a rare thing, and he went to bat for me. He did everything he could for me, and I am grateful to him, and I am so thankful I chose him, and I wouldn't choose anybody else. So once again, I can tell you from experience that sometimes complications happen. Again, asking where the fear is coming from is important. Do you have a family member or a friend who had a bad complication? Was their outcome maybe not one that you want to experience? Journaling about these worries, just free writing as every single thing that's screwy in terms of like what you're worried about, everything that's flying through your head. Take a few minutes, write it down on paper, do a brain dump, get it out of your brain so that you can kind of stop and take a look at it and come back to it in a day, 2 days, 3 days, and see how you feel about it after you've gotten it out of your brain and onto the paper. And you may feel differently about it the next day than you do 5 days later, than 10 days later, or whatever, after your nervous system's panic has calmed down and you can look at it with a more rational mind. Once again, you really need to figure out if you need to explore further, because ultimately you're the only one who can make your decision.